Welcome back to Crypto Front. This is the front line where we are fighting together side by side for financial freedom. I think we're actually doing a great job of that because we are seeing that here we've got the JASMY price set up around 9%. Obviously, the big headline is that Bitcoin has gotten a new all-time high right around, I think, $117,000. And I think that's really, really amazing. But of course, we want to be focusing on JASMY here because over the last few days, I have been talking to you and saying that, look, the real driver of the JASMY price that is Ethereum. And once we see Ethereum doing really great, we can also be rest assured that JASMY is going to be pushing towards even a higher high compared to the 6 cents that we were having back then. I think it was in May or something like that. So I'm personally at peace knowing that JASMY is just very much correlated to the rest of the global financial markets. Actually, I see the all-time high was in May. That actually was back then in December 2024. So that's like about 7 months ago. And I think it's also time for us to be pushing towards the upside. I think in the last video also, one thing that we talked about was this falling wedge on a shorter time scale here for JASMY. And I was saying that, look, these kind of things turn out to be bullish. They've got a 66% chance to go ahead and reach the top of the wedge here, which will be the target. And I think we are doing exactly that today, as you can see with that price action. I mean, we're getting super close. Yeah, this was something like a 20% in terms of like the percentages. I think it's nothing in the context of where we expect the JASMY price to do. However, that on its own, if we just go ahead and take a look at and analyze what this whole thing looks like, this is a classic bottoming structure here for JASMY. So this has been the messaging over the last few days or weeks, maybe we can say here for JASMY. And I think we have got all the conditions that we need. I made a video on that last maybe 2 days or something like that, saying that, look, the real driver for, the price of JASMY is nothing to do with the team, with the project or anything like that. I mean, think about it. For example, today we're up now more than 10%. No update whatsoever from the team and stuff like that. It's just the market is correlated to each other. And of course, when things are good, we'll just see the price section push towards the upside. So I'm anticipating great things to happen here for JASMY. And let me take you to the 1 daily time frame, and you can see here that we have got a double bottom that has formed here for JASMY. Now, the most beautiful part of this double bottom is that we actually have got a higher low compared to this one here, meaning that the bulls were defending these levels very much strongly, meaning there was a lot of buying pressure here for JASMY. So that is always a positive. And now what we're looking for here to do with JASMY is just to follow the rest of the market. I think there is not much analysis that we can do here for JASMY unless we are looking at things like how high really can the price go here. But I think most of the analysis is actually Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, what we see with Bitcoin is not really a surprise because, as you can see here, I've been pointing out to this, cup and handle formation, saying that we will break out, and I expect the price to go as high as something like $160,000 or something like that. In terms of percentages, it doesn't make any sense because, as you can see from the point of breakout here, we are only looking at a 50% here for BTC. But when it comes to JASMY, we're now looking at maybe 15, 10x or something like that there. So now the thing that I'm expecting the Bitcoin price to do is that at some point, obviously, a lot of people are overzealous at this point. Everybody's opening a long position. Okay, great. It may work out for a second, but the moment this thing starts pulling back a little bit here, because I think this level has to be tested one way or the other, I think this is when we can see the really huge one coming from JASMY and every other altcoin, right? So yeah, great. Bitcoin is heading into a new all-time high, and I'm in for that. I also had a JASMY long position and it's doing well. Actually, I had 2 positions. They're doing great, but I think at this point it's more like, okay, what really are we expecting the JASMY price to do? And we're looking at things which really drive the price. Number 1, the Bitcoin price. Number 2, also Ethereum. Ethereum is looking very much healthy there. So now we can go back to JASMY here and look at those, big price targets that we are talking about. Still, our structure is very much clear that, of course, we're not taking a look at the all-time high here, right around like $5, because the circulation that JASMY had here was maybe like, 5% or 10% even at most of whatever came into the market and diluted this whole thing. So this part of the chart I actually don't usually consider. I consider this 33-cent mark here as the all-time high for JASMY because at least there is a fair valuation right there. So from that moment until the very bottom, what we're anticipating for JASMY to do here is at least to get into one of these big retracement levels, right? When I say big retracement levels, I'm talking about maybe something like the 0.618 Fibonacci level. And that is actually right around, I would say, 20 cents here for JASMY. That's in right around an 10x that's okay. However, if the Jasmy price that is still very much bullish at that point, that it can break those retracement levels, I think it's also fair to anticipate something like 32 cents here as the best price target that the Jasmy price that can do. If you have been a regular on this channel, I'm sure you have had this price target time and again. But of course, the market is not always bullish, right? So people kind of, give up on Jasmy. They come back. It is what it is. So I think that's where we are here with Jasmy. We've got the bigger guys. The stock market in the United States is hitting all-time highs. We've got the Bitcoin price hitting all-time highs. We have got Ethereum really starting to show that it has got some signs of life. And with all these conditions set up, I think that Jasmy also has got a center stage to go ahead and perform really, really well. Because what we have also seen is that, yes, in as much as Jasmy is moving right along with Ethereum, let me just do that for a second so that you see exactly what I'm talking about. We also realize that Jasmy happens to move a little bit in a much more aggressive manner here. So take a look at this. The chart you see on top is the Jasmy price, and then we've got Ethereum right there. They literally move 1:1, but Jasmy obviously goes for these huge parabolic runs when Ethereum goes and does something like moderate right there. So I mean, at this point, we should actually be cheering for Ethereum to go ahead and do something special right there, and Jasmy will just go and do it like easy peasy lemon squeezy. So I think that's where we are in the market. Really exciting moment. But of course, just one thing that I think can catch people by surprise is that, okay, Coin is broken into a new all-time high, and if it starts pulling back here just to retest the previous all-time high right there, make it a support level before it actually heads out, that can be an area where people get shaken out and a lot of money is lost. But in the grand scheme of things, I think you see it right there with Jasmy. Now, before I go, let me show you this amazing activity that our partners over there at Outbank, the exchange, are doing. Up to 30% cashback, and you can claim up to 150 USDT bonus if you go ahead and register with them, deposit and trade on their exchange. And of course, you can go ahead and claim all of these amazing welcome bonuses by them. So the link is going to be somewhere there in the description. Please make sure that you go through the rules and see if they suit you. And with that being said, I want to thank you so much for watching the video. If you could, please delicately tap the like button, share the video with your friends and family, and I'll see you on the next one. Take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.